Right, hello, good morning, and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana Live on Metro TV. It's a Tuesday, the 7th day of May, 2024. By His grace, we're live and we're here. We're at another edition of the show. Our gratitude to go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making the rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Limited voter registration starts today. Exercise targets 623,000 persons. Government advances processes for divesting public lands. Professor Dodo launches 2 books on healthy living. Daily Guide. I'm ready to lead. Baumia. Ioko to return OSP's empty, in quotes, DAPA docket. Limited voter registration begins today. 1 injured, multiple vehicles destroyed in rainstorm. VIP proposes tax amnesty. Business and Financial Times. Robust USD corporate buying Bata CD. Positive outlook for investors despite economic challenges. Study. Goldfields announces new leadership team. Congratulations. Ghana Standards Authority gets advanced lab equipment for organic certification project. Recent monetary policy moves, stimulating lending or mopping up excess liquidity. And the 2 features. 1, the role of succession planning in promoting brand resilience and sustainable growth. And then Logistics Managers Index Report, 4th quarter 2023. The Finder. GIPC lists $3.8 billion projects from 62 Ghanaian companies registered in 2023. Moves to address exit of foreign companies. Minister receives report on divesting of state lands. Voter registration starts today. Information Minister designate tours media houses. The Daily Searchlight. As cash-strapped Ghana begs for relief from IMF, Baumia on promises galore. Imani petitions charged to investigate EC for breaking the law. Police clash with civilians at Dambai, teenager killed. CPA commends FDA on defective and unregistered diapers on the market, causing severe health hazards for babies in the country. Nobody has ever enticed me with money to rule on his or her favor. Asante Hene. NPA throws light on the Dadieso LPG tanker incident. The Ghanaian Observer. I'm ready to serve. VIP Baumia. Ghana Post launches stamp in honor of Otumfuo. Information Minister designate tours media houses. Divesting of lands committee submits report. The New Crusading Guide. I'm ready to serve Ghana, Baumia. Imani petitions charged to investigate EC's disposal of election-related equipment. OSP cleared Cecilia Dapa of corruption, not AG. Dami. Kwewu Afram Plains. South farmers demand independent pathologist over Otumfuo's death. Kotobabi Roman Ridge gets new chief. Help protect indigenous people. Dolura to UN. Economy Times. City depreciation worsens. LPG price made up of 22% taxes as NPA vows to ease traders' concern. Taxation is driving away investors. Farback General Secretary. The Ghanaian Times. EC begins limited voters registration today. Target 623,000 new entrants. 785 deprived electoral areas nationwide. Disclose probe into allegation of corruption against government officials. AG. GMET forecasts heavy rains, thunderstorms till end of July. Government to license 2 more companies. Ban on drumming, noise making in Gan traditional area begins. Daily Post. Mahama is the only president in Ghana's history who solved Dumsor minority. 2024 elections, Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman vows to secure victory for NDC in Central Region. Late J.B. Dankwameda, High Court declines request for Kenneth Japan as Lawusu 2 others to testify. Coming up, CEO of Ghana Gas Company under pressure to sign dubious Ghana Gas Phase 2 contract, Part 2. And that's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana Live Metro TV. With me on the show this morning, I have the Director of Legal Affairs of the NDC, Godwin Eduji Kujo Tamaklo, here with me on the show. And we're expecting Mr. Ernest Adade, who's a member of the communications team of the NPP, to join us shortly. Director,
Randy,
good morning.
Good morning, Randy, and good morning to your viewers.
I hope all is well.
Yeah, we are bracing up for the task ahead, and as you are aware, the limited voter registration exercise is commencing today. So all party activities, one way or the other, at the constituency level, we want to suspend and focus on the limited registration exercise. As the Electoral Commission pointed out, we are looking to have about 600,000 new voters or persons who have just turned 18 or persons who are 18 and above but could not vote, get to register the last time. We want to use this opportunity to get them registered and to have, as it were, 600,000 new persons coming onto the voters' roll. Clearly, it tells you that, Randy, we have a lot to do. So that's basically.
So we'll come back and
the
Electoral Commission has been addressing all of us on this particular one. So we'll come back and check out what the Electoral Commission is saying, all the things that have been put in place to ensure that it's a success. But if you're looking for that toothpaste that can serve the whole family, top quality but affordable, then the recommended family toothpaste is KEL 360 toothpaste. It's approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. And KEL 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. KEL 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using KEL 360 toothpaste. KEL 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use KEL 360 toothpaste. KEL 360 toothpaste, another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso, is available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. Call Samara Company on 0246 864 798. KEL 360 toothpaste. Happy smile. And enjoying the fruits of your labor is as important as enjoying the mansions of your labor. The pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages, but worry no more. Lift and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple, self-supported elevator for both homes and offices. And guess what? You can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in and they come in 3 custom-made models. It is affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lift and Elevators at Sakumono, or just call them on 0200-535-515 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. Okay, so we check out the center spread of the Ghanaian Times, and EC begins limited voter registration today. Target 623,000 new entrants, 785 deprived electoral areas nationwide. And Stephanie Brickran reports that the Electoral Commission begins the voters registration exercise for new eligible voters from today, May 7, until Monday, May 27, 2024. The exercise is expected to last 21 days and will be conducted across all 268 district offices of the EC nationwide. Speaking at a press conference in Accra yesterday, the chairperson of the commission, Mrs. Jean Mensah, explained that to ensure accessibility and inclusivity, the commission has identified 785 underprivileged electoral areas where registration would be conducted. These areas, she said, often face challenges in accessing district offices and were selected in collaboration with field staff and stakeholders, including political parties. She said 25 universities across the country had been chosen as registration centers due to their high population of residents on campus, facilitating the registration of a significant number of first-time voters efficiently. Mrs. Mensah added that all necessary preparations, including the gazetting of registration centers and movement plans for mobile teams, had been meticulously executed in compliance with regulations. She added that a 21-day notice was given to political parties during an IPAC meeting, enabling them to prepare agents for the exercise. And she said the commission had established a database of qualified personnel, ensuring their identification through names, photographs, and ID cards. Any objections raised by political parties regarding personnel would be thoroughly investigated, maintaining integrity in the process. And also special provisions have been made for persons with disabilities and elderly citizens to receive priority attention at registration centers. Now, to what will interest a lot of people, the eligibility criteria. Okay, so what qualifies you to be registered as a voter? Okay, so first of all, you should not have been registered already. Okay. Now, you should be a Ghanaian citizen, 18 years and above, of sound mental capacity. I don't know who's going to determine that if you're not strip naked. And residency in the intended voting district. Now, for documentation, Ghana passport or Ghana card issued by the National Identification Authority are required. But those lacking these documents can visit the district offices with 2 registered voters who will be guarantors, with a warning against guarantors vouching for more than 10 individuals. So if you are a guarantor, a registered voter, and you seek to guarantee 4 persons, you cannot guarantee for more than 10 persons. So you can guarantee for a maximum, up to a maximum of 10 persons. And there's also the National Election Security Task Force led by the IGP, whose job will be to prevent minors and foreigners from registering, to ensure the integrity and legitimacy of the process. Okay, so the AC believes that they will be able to even surpass the 623,000 targets. Now, it appears that so far I've not heard anything from your side, and for that matter, the other political parties. It will suggest to me that there's been a lot of stakeholder engagements, like the EC saying, and that perhaps all of you political parties are on all fours with the Electoral Commission on this one.
So, Randy, as you recall, we have had this running conversation with the Electoral Commission, whereupon the Electoral Commission had wanted to, or even introduce, a new CI. And as part of the pre-laying conversation, one of the things that the CI was going to do is to take the guarantor system and limit that whole conversation to the use of Ghana card only. Based on Mr. Speaker's magnanimity, allowing the committee of the whole proceedings to be telecasted, it gave the people of Ghana the opportunity to appreciate why the NDC is opposed to the use of Ghana card only for the purposes of voter registration. And the conversation that we gave at that time is that anytime you put impediments relative to the requirement to be registered to vote, you'll be creating what we describe as an elite voters register, where the bulk of our people are persons who will struggle to get some of this documentation. And so we insisted that the guarantor system must be, as it were, included. Thankfully, reasoning prevailed. The Electoral Commission basically had to stop that agenda. We have the situation where today the Electoral Commission says the requirements includes having a guarantor. I want to use this platform to, as it were, educate our people. With a guarantor system, you should ensure that if you are guaranteeing for me, first you must be a registered voter yourself. And then you can only do 10 applicants, you can't do beyond 10. If you do beyond 10, you'll be violating the law, and it comes with its own consequences. So as much as possible, I would advise that you can do 10 or 8 or 9, but make sure you don't do beyond the 10 because of the dangers associated. Randy, you recall that we have been engaging the Electoral Commission once we return to IPAC on some of these critical issues. Now, in September, if you recall, the party actually went to the Supreme Court with other political parties, and has to do with the fact that any reading of CI 91 as amended by CI 126 clearly would suggest that in making a place a registration center, the law imposes a certain responsibility on the Electoral Commission. One, to ensure that the place is accessible. The accessibility argument that we have always made, and I want to use the example of Dome Kwabenya. The district office is at Abokobi, but the constituency stretches as far as the old Peace FM. And so imagine somebody having to move from the old Peace FM right to Abokobi for the purposes of getting a voter's card. Clearly, there's going to be a problem. Because you need to pick Trotro from there to Dome, St. John's. You pick to Atomic Roundabout, pick to Hacho, or Legon Botanical Garden, before you can then pick from, Agbogba right to Abokobi, just to get a voter's card. So we made the argument that, look, Electoral Commission, you have, in fact, in the 2020 voter registration, you went to Parliament. Parliament gave you about $74 million to buy all the equipment that you need. So you have the equipment. So why restrict the conversation to only the district offices? Well, they have made some few concessions. So this time around, if you recall, for this limited registration, they have decided that public universities will definitely be registration centers on their own. They have also agreed that in some, according to them, their own staffs have given them indication in some specific constituencies where it is difficult to reach. I use the example always of Afram Plains. Imagine you are in Donkokru. You need to have somebody registered in Mame Krobo or the Dija Islands. And if all these individuals would have to use canoe or boats to come to Donkokru for the sole purpose of getting a voter's card. And in some instances, when they come, they are unable to get it. And so, by reason of queue dynamics. So, in those instances, they would have to go back and come back, a later date. And so, when we put all of this, the EC decided to make some few concessions. We strongly believe that a registration exercise of this nature should at least happen, if not at the respective polling stations, at least at the electoral area level, so that it makes mobilization, it makes people accessing registration centers a bit more easy. But as you're aware, the Electoral Commission is a bit adamant and had decided to make just some few concessions to allow for the exercise to happen. We are minded, under the circumstance, to encourage as many young people as we can, under the circumstances, to unveil themselves for this all-important exercise. I've always maintained that election, all over the world is garbage in, garbage out. You can make all the proclamations that you want. You can make all, excuse me to say, all the noise that you can. But if on the day of election, your name is not on the voters' register, whatever noise is it that you have been making will be of no consequence, because you wouldn't have the benefit of participating in that electoral process. And so the encouragement that we want to do is to urge persons who have turned 18 years and above, and those who have turned 18 but could not have their names on the roll in the September continuous registration, to unveil themselves for this particular exercise. Now, you know, by law, the Electoral Commission is supposed to provide a provisional voters register at least 60 days to an election. Currently, as we speak, Randy, you will note that we have about 214 days to the next election. So in 60 days out of these 200, we need to have a provisional register. Now the question is, if you take these 60 days from the 214 left, we do not have a lot of time in terms of putting the electoral, machine, the calendar and everything into perspective. And so it is very important. Some have contemplated that the Electoral Commission may be doing a mop-up exercise maybe in August or September, thereabout. But our fear is that if you have to go through the exhibition processes and all the things that are required to get a provisional register, we may be put in a situation where we may go into the election if we have to do a mop-up exercise somewhere in September. So the timeline is a bit very, very tight in terms of the scheduling. And so I would want to use this platform once again to encourage all the young people to be part of this. It's about the destiny of this country. It's about the things that have gone on in the past 8 years and the need to right this wrong. And the only way we can do that is to have as many of our people getting to be registered in order that on the 7th they will have the opportunity for voting for the ticket, the John Jane ticket. Because it's important that we rescue this country from what is currently going on. And I've always maintained that a failure to change this administration will give the NPP that sense of entitlement that they are entitled to misgovern. And that is dangerous for the forward march of this country. Voters have that responsibility to say enough is enough. Randy.
Right. Okay. So, Ernest Madade has joined us here. Ernest, good morning.
Good morning, Randy.
And, I know that it's not your making to get here that late. I need to make that point. Ernest had to come in quite late. So Ernest just joined us, but it is not his fault. He didn't come here late deliberately. So Ernest, thanks for coming, and good morning. Your first time on the show?
This is my first time on Randy's show.
Okay, but you've been on with Annie?
On...
have you been on Good Morning Ghana?
No. This is my first time on Good Morning Ghana. Right. But your premises is no new place for me.
Okay.
I'm almost always here.
Oh, okay.
And unfortunately, my boss had to call me a little late, like you said, and therefore I was almost on another show.
We appreciate the fact that you could make it. Right. So Ernest, we're here looking at maybe just briefly for those who don't know you. Maybe in a minute, you might have to tell all of us who Ernest Madade is.
Thank you.
We know you're a member of the comms team, but beyond that.
Beyond that, my boss is Nana Kumia. Let me put it straight that way.
Is the boss of many.
And so I'm a party person. I'm also.
Where is your boss? Just for clarification, you work at STC.
No. I used to be in the Ministry of Employment with him.
Okay.
When he was minister.
Okay.
That time we were working hard to establish the National Youth Employment Program. Now, YE.
Right.
So I was one of the then. We called them coordinators then. Okay. Now we call them CEOs.
Okay.
So I worked with him and have been doing my own private business for some time now. Right. We met a few times outside here. True. On a different thing, talking about different things. So as part of a member of the communications team, we do all sorts of things around and working for our party to be retained by the people of Ghana, the good people of Ghana. My brother just said that if you don't change, you have a problem. But I have a different view altogether. That the best thing to happen to Ghana, to this country, would be to try and move on. And let's see what we can do with the kind of gains we have made. I believe strongly so.
All right. Okay, so we're talking about the limited voter registration exercise, which starts today. Yeah. And the EC has told us that they are targeting 623,000 new entrants. They hope to even surpass this figure. All district offices will be open. They're also targeting some 785 deprived electoral areas nationwide. They're looking at using the campuses of 25 universities because they believe that is also the center of a lot of first-time voters. And it appears that they've done a lot of this in consultation with key stakeholders and the political parties. I'm sure that's how come we're not hearing a lot of negative stuff about the exercise so far. And I just reminded everybody else about the eligibility criteria, which had been a thorny issue for quite some time. So for the documents, there are three ways. Either a Ghanaian passport, a voter, a national ID issued by the National Identification Authority, or 2 registered voters guaranteeing for you. So you can go register with your passport, your Ghana card. If you don't have any of these 2, then you need to get 2 registered voters to guarantee for you at the district office. And for those who are registered voters and can guarantee, you cannot guarantee for more than 10 persons. You can only guarantee for up to a maximum of 10 persons. Yes.
Thank you.
What are your expectations? Yes, sir.
Yes. This registration process, I think, is one of the processes leading to the election. We did the first one. Now we are registering those people, those new entrants, and the subsequent ones will follow. The most important thing here is that now we used to struggle over what document to use. Now it's clear. If you have a passport, you can use. Then the Ghana card thing that you just mentioned. And the guarantor system has also been with us for some time now. I don't believe it is a new thing that's being introduced. Previously, we used to use it. We are still using it. So it's not giving us any much problems yet, except that whenever we are speaking, we are always telling people that just fall within the rules and try as much as possible not to do the wrong things. There's a lot of talk about the registrations of minors, the registrations of people who might not necessarily be Ghanaian, and people who want to bus them or take them to the registration centers to go and register. We have always said that everybody should try as much as possible to live and work within the law, so that nobody breaks the law and nobody is found wanting, no action is taken against anybody. We within the MPP, we have been meeting our people, we've been discussing with our teams, our polling station people, that you will need to also work hard within the law to ensure that you are doing the right things. And we expect our brothers from the other side to also encourage their people to do same. We shouldn't deceive ourselves that bringing people from outside to come and register, or maybe attempting to register minors. It's just unexpected or whatever it might be. People still will want to convince they are younger than 18 dependents or siblings or sisters or children to go and register.
And let me just add this. I mean, one key qualification criteria is also that you must be resident in the district that you intend to vote. You must be resident in that district. Very important.
Randy. So these are all things. I don't believe there is any new thing here.
Yes.
The only one that I think would be new would have been the passport, because I think the last 4 years registration, there was a lot of noise around the passport when the NDC had wanted the use of the passport, and the Ghana card was the main thing. It became it generated a lot of worry, but now I think it's been addressed. The rest, everybody knows that you have to be within the area. If you don't stay within the area, people will raise objections and all that, and it's always created problems within a lot of the districts. So if the fellow does not stay there or he stays there, I was encouraging some of our people that those who are in school, if you think and you know that by the 7th of December, some schools will be on vacation, then come home, take the weekend and come and register and go back. Or if you believe strongly that on the 7th of December, by then a lot of schools have not vacated and you will not have the opportunity to come home and come and vote at home, then try and register at school. And those ones too, provisions will be made. And by all means, somebody can say, like you are talking about people resident there. That's why I'm bringing this one in. Because
if you are in school, you are a resident.
Exactly. You are in school and you will not have the opportunity to come home because when we are voting, you may not be home. Please try and register in the school. We have had challenges where people work. Somebody has a shop at Kantamanto, for example. We have experienced this before. Somebody has a shop at Kantamanto, but he stays maybe around Taifa, and he wants to register at Kantamanto, and it's an issue. We've experienced these things. The people around Kantamanto should know that on the 7th of December, he may be in his shop at Kantamanto, or at Abosokai, or at Mokola. So it is better for you, if you think you cannot stay away from work that day, it's better for you to register. And when they go there and anybody raises any objection, I believe they should be able to explain to them that we are resident here more or less because we spend the whole day here, we just go home. He comes by 5 or 4, a lot of people are already in their shops and on the markets. And you go home around 10. He gets home around 10, goes to sleep, and by the next dawn he's in the market. So he's more or less, his whole life is on the market or in his shop. And they should be able to register in those areas also. So these I think we have ironed out all the differences, the major differences that we have had in terms of registration over the period.
Right.
And then we should be able to manage it from here on. I don't believe there's any worry, too much worry as at now.
All right. Okay, so just to add to this particular issue, it's very related. The EC has also announced that it will commence the replacement of voter ID cards from Thursday. So it started already from 30th of May. And it will end, rather it will start on the 30th of May. And then end on the 14th of June. So it's a 2-week exercise. So replacement of voter ID cards, May 30 to June 14. So if you have misplaced your card, you can do so. Concurrently, the transfer of votes and applications for proxy voting will also be facilitated within the same time frame. So if you want to transfer your votes, May 30 to June 14 is the time for you to do that. And if you also want to apply for proxy voting, it's also the same period, May 30 to June 14. And these activities are slated to occur at EC district offices, selected electoral areas, and public universities. And during this process, it's important to highlight that it constitutes a criminal offense for a grantor to vote for more than, that's for the voting. So that's basically it. So yes.
Randy, when the recent spillage happened, the communities around the Volta lake The great concern that came had to do with the fact that some of them lost their ID cards in the process. So it's been a major concern for us, knowing that most of these places have our supporters around. So what we have done, again, and thanks for bringing this up, is that if you have lost your card during the floods, your biometrics are still with the machine, quote unquote. And so don't go and register for a new card. That one is called replacement of a missing card. The time is coming for our people to go and do that. I want to emphasize that because when you engage in registering again on the basis that you have misplaced your card, it amounts to multiple registration, and that is an offense. In those circumstances, you can be barred from voting or even being registered to vote for a certain number of years. So I want to entreat our people. Please, if you have misplaced your card, this is not the time for you. The time for you to go for a replacement will be coming up. And once that time comes up, we'll engage you by way of public education to get you to go do it. But at this moment, it is for persons who have never gotten their name on the voters register after the new register was compiled in 2020. And this is so unique because you have just turned 18 or you are more than 18, but in 2020 you didn't, 2023 you didn't, and this is the opportunity. So that is very key so that our people do not engage in multiple registration, knowing the penal consequence. In some instances, you can actually be prosecuted for registering multiple times.
All right. So, Chief, the flag bearer of the MPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has praised the accomplishments of the Akufo-Addo administration. According to him, despite recent economic hurdles, the quality of life for Ghanaians has seen significant improvement over the past 7 years, in contrast to the term of former President John Dramani Mahama. Dr. Bawumia pointed out the difficulties Ghanaians encountered during Mahama's administration, including intermittent power supply, commonly known as DUMSO, rising unemployment, tariff increases, and business failures. Quote, sure, I can say without any fear of contradiction that notwithstanding the recent economic challenges which have resulted in hardship for many Ghanaians, the fact remains that the lives of Ghanaians have improved significantly after 7 years of our government from what they were during the government of John Mahama. There's no dispute about it. Why do I say so? Because the data says so. You will recall that in the previous government, we endured 4 years of power outages, which we call DUMSO, which collapsed many businesses and increased unemployment. There was no chalk in schools, and teacher and nursing training allowances were cancelled. There was a near collapse of the National Health Insurance Scheme and the National Ambulance Service. There were increases in electricity tariff by an average of 50% annually, and many parents could not afford the fees to send their children to senior high school. The MPP flag bearer noted that the government has enacted numerous policies aimed at alleviating the hardships faced by Ghanaians. He also highlighted the reinstatement of the previously cancelled teacher and nursing training allowances, emphasizing that they have created more jobs than any other administration. Since coming into office, we have implemented many policies to reduce the suffering of Ghanaians. The electricity tariffs over the last 6 years have seen the lowest increase, 11%, for any 7-year period over the last 30 years. We also provided free electricity for lifeline users for a year and a 50% reduction in tariffs for all other consumers during COVID-19. We have restored the cancelled teacher and training allowance. We have created more jobs than any other government. And he pointed out that Ghana's per capita income rose from 7,756 cedis in 2016 to 19,464 cedis by the end of 2022. Says Ghana's per capita income increased from in dollar terms, $1,978 to $2,353, he noted. So he says we've improved lives of Ghanaians compared to Mahama's term. And he says that he has indicated what they've done. It says that in the area of employment, tariff increases, business failures, and doom so, they've done far better and improved the lives of Ghanaians. And that's true.
I think you've read all the details, and I don't know which one anybody will want to contest. He mentioned tariffs coming down when we took office. We reduced electricity tariffs significantly by 11%, and I think 33% for Lifeline and domestic users. He mentioned also COVID support. I put it that way. If you look at COVID support, the period within which the MPP, the NDC was in power, we never had any big recession after a pandemic like we had under COVID. During the period that COVID had stricken this country and things were not going, there were no imports coming, no taxes had gone down because people's shops were closed and all that. Imports are not coming, so there is no duties coming through the ports and all that. People were not... So many parts of the economies around the world, not in Ghana only. I always make this reference, that nobody should think that the things we are talking about today happened to only Ghana. Big economies that we cannot measure to went through the same thing. But we did some other things that said some of those economies did not do. You could tell that in Ghana when COVID struck, the people who were working then, the nurses, doctors, we decided to continue paying them even when we were crying that we were not having the revenues that we expected. We continued to give some level of support to nurses and other people we call the frontline workers. These were monies that are coming from the consolidated fund, which was drying up as a result of things not happening the way they should. Businesses had gone down, so automatically your expected taxes and your expected revenues will not come. He mentioned also per capita income. You see, I always reference the time when you compare two things, before and after, then we will be able to tell exactly what is happening. When President Kufuor was leaving office, I'm going back, President Kufuor was leaving office, we knew how the economy was, the kind of economy that was handed over from the Kufuor administration to the Mills Mahama administration then. Within the shortest possible time, you could tell that certain things had deteriorated. We handed over a way more robust, stable economy to the NDC then. Within the shortest possible time, we had this Lucky Mensa, I think so, trying to give a message to Tewia to go and tell Atta that things are not going well. It was less than a year, and we started seeing a decline within the economy of Ghana. Moving forward, the Mahama Emisata administration handed over another kind of Ghana to His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia. That kind of Ghana, which they themselves described in a very, very terrible state, that I think the meat had been eaten and is left with only bones or something. There's a lot of rhetoric around this. Things had not gone well. We could physically feel the pressures within the economy. And that was the time the MPP government took over, the Bawumia Nana Addo government took over from the NDC. People thought that things were going to go worse. But immediately, certain strategies came to play, so many things were put in place, and you realize that the economy started picking up. The numbers, everybody knows. We took over from around some 3.7%. It rose, got to about 6.7 or so before the 2020 pandemic struck. Every time, I have said this thing everywhere I've been, that we know that anytime there was a major pandemic like this, or there's a major war or something, always a recession follows. Countries that have heavy reserves that could support and be able to recover from these recessions that always come. Under the current circumstance, if you listen to news all over, they are all having challenges. And they've all been through the challenges that we are facing. How can you compare this to a country like Ghana, quote and unquote, a developing country, that you have had these shocks come, and all the communities around you that used to support you, now they themselves are struggling for life. You have had to spend monies that hitherto you wouldn't have spent. I mentioned allowances. We have to go and look for other fundings. I know my brother would say, oh, but you had money from the World Bank. Was it able to solve all the problems?
So I was going to ask you...
I know you will come there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how you factor in the fact that the pandemic you are talking about gave you $6 billion, not million, $6 billion.
I just raised the issue that you will realize you were spending monies that, one, you wouldn't have spent. Number two, monies you did not have. So all these supports that came around that time went to do certain things under normal circumstances you wouldn't have done. The government doesn't often pay for people's electricity bill. And we were in a challenge that if you don't help your people, they will be more distressed than they actually are. So you have to pay somebody's electricity bill. You have to give water. You calculate how much went into the water. You have to give water to people because we had to wash hands regularly and people did not have the water. There are people who cannot, please, we are living in Ghana. There are people who cannot even afford that water, even if they say one bucket is 2 cedis. And because he has to wash his hands regularly and do all these things, instead of using 1 bucket a day, that lifeline gentleman or lady may have to use 2-3 buckets that day. If you don't take care, he cannot afford it. So somebody had to pay for that water. And all these expenditures we were doing, under normal circumstances, you wouldn't do them. He is comparing it to the administration just before him. That if Dr. Bawumia is saying, before we took over, the NDC wasn't doing any better. But they weren't under these shocks. The kind of shocks that we are talking about now, they didn't have any.
The shocks that gave you $6 billion.
The shocks that gave you $6 billion, but you might have spent more. I don't have the numbers, so I don't want to go into numbers.
The finance minister gave us the numbers in parliament, so we know the numbers.
So if the shocks that gave you, the challenge that gave you $6 billion made you spend more than $6 billion, you will still have a deficit.
Far less.
Okay. You are saying it, but what I'm saying is maybe...
I'm just basing it on the information provided by the finance minister in parliament.
If you remember when the call came for COVID expenditure, he mentioned something. He said, this is what we spend directly on COVID.
Yes.
The rest had to go to support the budget.
Yes.
We all know, it's not only under the MPP or under the NDC. We know since time immemorial, we have had to have donor support for a lot of the things we do in our budget. So we budget for something, we prepare to go and do maybe some support, agri support somewhere, and you have to fall on maybe some Canadian NGO or JICA or those donor agencies to support you. These agencies within that time, their people were dying. So some of those supports that you were expecting to flow in, those inflows did not come, even if some of them came. That's why the World Bank had to take it upon itself and begin to support the nations, because they know, everybody knows the monies were not coming.
Then COVID was good for you, because if all those nations, from what you're saying, they had to focus on their people, and they couldn't provide you
with the budget support that you would have expected.
But you made enough. You made enough from COVID-related inflows to the extent that you even spent more on budgetary support than direct COVID expenditure, as per your own data in Parliament. Then it means that COVID was rather a blessing.
No, but Randy, the support that did not come directly from, that did not go directly to COVID, that came into the budget, 90% of them, or more of them, would have been COVID-related punches that we received. COVID-related. Your money, your revenues you are expecting did not come. In that budget, you didn't see that, the expected revenues, we exceeded them. And for that matter, whatever was left in COVID could have gone to do something else.
We have that data.
But you shouldn't forget that.
The projection and the
Yes,
Actual. The data is
Randy,
available.
you shouldn't forget that within this period we are talking about COVID, all other government projects did not stop. Government programs did not stop. Kids stayed in school, but the expenditure on kids stayed out of school. But the expenditure on the school still went on because their teachers, even though they were not in school, will have to be paid. We didn't slash salaries of Ghanaian teachers like some countries and some other people did. Ghanaian workers who would have had to stay out of office, and for that matter, productivity did not come. The expected revenues from their areas did not come. You were still going to spend the money. So if in the budget you expected that, I was going to get 100,000, out of the 100,000, I was going to spend 50,000 here and push 20,000 here. Once that 100,000 did not come, the money had to come from somewhere. This is basic. And therefore, we had to, whether we liked or not, if we don't want other sectors of the economy to crash, then we have to spend on, or we have to take the money from somewhere and come and spend. So if you remember the rhetoric that the president made, the statement he made that we know how to bring the economy back. We will look for the money. We will work hard. We will do whatever we need to do to bring the economy back. And you could see that the economy is coming back. By the end of 2023, what did we do? We didn't do bad at all, even though we didn't do what we thought we would have done outside if everything was okay. We didn't do bad. So this monies, unless somebody is telling me today that when COVID struck, stop everything you were doing. We should have stopped roads. We should have stopped everything and focused. Otherwise, all the things we would have spent money on that we have already budgeted for, we had to do them and still go ahead and solve the problems that COVID had inflicted on us. That is why, whether we accept it or reject it, if I am the president, I will do exactly what the president did. Get the money from somewhere. Let your economy, at least, even though it is not moving up, it shouldn't crash completely to the extent that we wouldn't have anything to do. So he brought the money and put it there. Now, people are asking questions. Why are we still paying this money? Yes, because you've spent monies you didn't have. You have the people who would have given...
Why are we paying which monies?
Like, we are talking about money. Why are we still paying? I know you want to push me into the corner. I won't say that one.
No, because you said, why are we still paying? So I want to find out what we are still paying.
Certain monies. Once we are still paying those monies, somebody will ask you why.
The COVID recovery levy.
But you know it already. Why are you still paying? Because COVID had inflicted certain challenges on you. And somebody says you have 6 billion, like you are saying,
Yes.
you have $6 billion.
But
the 6 billion you had,
yes,
you spent some directly on COVID.
Yes.
And COVID had by then stopped all your inflows, excise wasn't coming, locally people's shops were closed. So your expected income too did not come. Where will the money you want to spend on these things for your economy to keep running? At least keep it on life support until things stabilize. Where will that money come from? You have to push, and he told us, he pushed it from the COVID levy into the budgetary support. And funnily, some people are saying, you have the money. These are monies we will pay. We are now fighting hard to ensure that the monies that were borrowed that had to be paid, not necessarily by this government alone, but by successive governments or by previous governments, these monies are also being paid for. You can't go and tell them that because COVID struck, I am not able to pay you now. You are now using the right processes to tell them that because I am in trouble, help me, slow down. But that time, we were still paying. Where are you going to get the money from? You have no revenues. So all these things Dr. Bawumia had mentioned, which of them is not true? Let me now wade into another area.
Right.
He mentioned education. In between 2012 and 2016, there was no COVID. There was no challenge. The economy is supposed to be moving on well. Things are working well everywhere. But the NDC said we will build 200 E-blocks. Were they able to build 200 E-blocks? No. Get Fund records show that they were able to build only 29. Even the 29, the World Bank support was there. They were supposed to build 200 without any challenge. Why couldn't they raise 1.3 billion to build 200 E-blocks? So it should tell you that even when things were not happening, they promised so many things. Now we are all enjoying free SHS, right, for our kids, our brothers who are in SHS, struggling, but we are doing it. But people forget that previously, under the NDC government, Northern Scholarship alone, the Northern Secondary School payments, those ones alone, which was way less than what you are paying now, schools were closing down. Randy, we are all in this country. Schools had reopened and they cannot go to school. Northern schools were not able to go to school. Why? Because they've not been able to pay. This was a time that things were normal or supposed to be normal. And the schools cannot go because government has not been able to pay. Hospitals were rejecting NHIS. So if Dr. Bawumia tells you that you are better off today than you were, now the whole nation enjoying free SHS, children are not at home. The only thing you can say is that free SHS brought bed bags to schools. That's all you can say, which every Ghanaian, every well-meaning person will know that this one is just in the passing. But the point is, when things were normal, you couldn't pay the northern schools alone their free SHS. But somebody is paying the whole country free SHS. It's better now than before. Hospitals are not rejecting NHIS card now, as we speak. Things are better now than before. Look, we said we will give kids laptops, right? These RLG laptops from the past. The few that came were not able to use. He said, I will give you. And they are in the process of providing all of them. Nurses' allowances, you were not able to pay under the Eswal government. Things were supposed to be well. This government is paying. Difficult as it is, the government is paying. Teachers' allowances, the government is paying. Nobody's salary is being withheld. Salaries are going. No matter how difficult it is, no salaries are delayed. So it keeps going and going, and you realize that all the things he mentioned, they are better. I mean, when it comes to even the dollar argument, even the dollar, yes, nominally, dollar had gone way, 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 way lower. But Randy, is it true that by the time President Kufuor was leaving office, what they handed over to them was about 1.2 Ghana by 2008 when they were taking office, and by the 2016 they were leaving. Is it true that it had gotten to 4.6, 4 point something thereabout? That's about 400% increase. If we want to live by their arrangement and the way they did it, by now we should be buying dollar at 16 point something Ghana cedis. So yes, the devaluation of the currency is going. Nobody's happy about it. But the fall under the previous administration, yes, there was a fall. There's always been a fall anyway. But there was a fall under us. There was a fall under them. There is a fall under us. But go and compare the rate of fall, and you will see that, yes, we have all not been proud of the way the thing had fallen. But one is doing it better. That's what Dr. Bawumia is saying. One of us is doing it better. Whenever this dollar conversation drops, I said, if His Excellency John Dramani Mahama comes tomorrow and tells you your dollar will stop, I'm telling you it will not stop. There are things, everybody knows the things that we have to do for our currency to remain relevant within the scheme of things. Everybody knows. And it is not by political promise. I have said this thing everywhere I have been. Nobody will come and promise you the dollar will stop tomorrow. It didn't stop when the NDC took office. It didn't stop when Anado took office. And it will not stop if anybody takes office tomorrow, if Dr. Bawumia takes office, if we don't improve. But look at the Japanese. They are producing, they are exporting, they are doing all the things.
Now you tell us why it has not stopped.
In my opinion.
Because you promised that it will stop.
Yes.
Even at a point in time, you told us that you have stopped it. Yes.
Ready? The dollar will not stop until, number one, we try to balance our trade. So if we don't balance our trade, in my opinion, so that we will not always be rushing for dollar to go and buy something from somewhere, whatever, go and take things that we don't even need. You buy a charger, it doesn't work, but we used dollar to go and buy it. Those things will not stop.
But all these things were contained in Dr. Bawumia's Restoring the Value of the Cedi lecture.
So he is telling
that he directed us to go and download.
But he is telling you that even in that, we are saying we try to do something about it. And that is why the people of Ghana should listen to what the MPP is saying. Don't turn back the hand of clock. Don't turn back the hand of the clock.
Restoring the value of the city. He told us that all the solutions that government needed to restore the value of the city were contained in his lecture. And he pointed us to the website to go and download it.
And you saw the document.
To go and download it.
Yeah, you saw the document.
Under 2 years, he's had the opportunity of being chairman of the economic management team. His government has been given the reins of power. 7.5 years. You are telling me what we were told 10 years ago.
Because the things we are putting in place. In fact, the economy kept improving until we had the challenges we are always talking about, which you can decide to accept or not. But the challenges of COVID and all the world challenges that always hit us whenever it happens elsewhere, Ukraine and all that, whether we like it or not, whenever they catch a cold, when they sneeze, we catch the cold. And it always happens. In 2008, it happened. There was a credit crunch somewhere, and we bore the brunt. So what I am saying is, whatever Dr. Bawumia said, he prescribed solutions. And he is telling the people of Ghana today.
But he had the opportunity. You know, when he prescribed the solution, he was an opposition member.
Yeah.
He's had the opportunity of being in office for 7.5 years.
Yeah.
And he's still prescribing solutions?
Randy, are you sure he's prescribing solutions? He's giving you what he thinks will work. Look, I have always said
exactly
this.
What it
in
is.
his speech, he mentioned the fact that, and I'm trying hard not to go there, but you're still pushing me there. I'll pass there and move on. In his speech, he made the people of Ghana understand that I was part of a team, that I was just one of the players on the team. And I can advise. But when I give the advice, let's say there's a cabinet meeting. He's one man. His Excellency, the President, will be there and other cabinet members. So he will say, no, Momo is not a good thing to tax because it is targeting the below the belt group of people. Let me put it that way, just to borrow the word. So let's not tax. And somebody says, oh, no, we have to tax. And another person, what is the worst thing that will be done? There will be a vote. And then they take a vote and you lose. So you will say, because my opinion was not taken, cabinet is bogus and I will not be part of. No, it's a democracy. So if I believe that, if Dr. Bawumia believes that these are the things I am prescribing, and other team members in a democracy believe that we could go the other way around, and we believe a route A will work, your route is not what, and we go and try and it doesn't work. And the man says, yes, but I told you this route is better than that route, so let us go this way. Now, I am going to hold the seat. And the president has executive powers. That's all he's telling the people of Ghana. That if I am president and I have executive powers, the final signature on the document will be mine. And most of the things I have told you we will do that will let the economy prosper, we will do them. He is among the two candidates, the two running candidates, let me put it that way because there are other candidates. Among those two, the two, one has been president before and his record is there to show. And I am not scared any day when anybody says, bring a debate. I'm not scared.
A debate on the basis of what? You said one has a record, one doesn't have a
One
record.
has been given the opportunity from vice president. I will say this again, because I've said it severally. One was given the opportunity to become the president of the Republic of Ghana. And he said, as president, I will do A, B, C, D. It was the same president that he was saying under him, we couldn't even afford chalk in a normal economic environment.
But is that thing true?
Oh, But people were
Nothing that I was surprised that the
I'm-
vice president even mentioned
No.
it. Is
It happened. The thing is, as to what kind of weight you put on it is a different matter.
No, all I'm saying is
if
that,
somebody
all I'm
visited
saying
a
is that,
Kukrentumi
Chief,
school,
all I'm saying is that for the vice president to be addressing people, to talk about shortages of chalk in our schools, for him to decide to elevate it and put it out there in comparing performance, economic performance, obviously.
no, in here, Randy, you see, sometimes that's what the conversation becomes. When an NDC person comes to the studio and he addresses the vice president and calls him a liar because he said, I will provide this,
Yes.
and I couldn't provide.
Yes.
When he gives you that punch,
Yes.
I will tell him, under you couldn't even buy chalk. That's where the conversation always comes in.
No,
You
but
understand?
I'm not
So
sure.
if
I'm not sure
under
you're
you-
saying that that is what the vice president was engaging, that he was responding to an NDC panelist.
He spoke about issues that, to him, under the NDC, he said, here it is better than there.
Yes.
Voting for the MPP in 2024 is better than voting for the NDC in 2024. That's what he's trying to tell the people of Ghana.
Because under the NDC.
Because
schools
under
didn't
the
have chalk.
NDC, he said he will build 200 schools. He was able to build 27. And under the MPP, we have built 58. They can go and check.
And you said you built how many?
You see, the rhetoric that they said my boss sat somewhere and made, my boss, I mean, it's Nana Akumia sat somewhere. And Nana Akumia said we will build 360 schools. 350 schools. And I am saying that when you looked into our manifesto, was that thing able to find its way there? No. So when we are prioritizing...
Chief, we've gone past that. Because
No,
Nana Akumia himself, on this table, we have addressed the issue.
So all I'm saying is...
I'm saying we have addressed the issue.
Okay.
The 350 was said by President Akufo-Addo.
Okay.
Was said by Dr. Bawumia.
Okay.
Nana Akumia repeated it. Nana Akumia wasn't the originator of the 350. That's just the clarification.
No, but the case is...
But the issue of the 350 being promised is not...
No, Randy, all I'm saying is,
That, yes.
if Nanado or Dr. Bawumia, the two leading people, then thought that 350 schools was a priority for them, it would have found its way into the documentation of the party.
Which documentation?
The manifesto, for example, is what anybody can take tomorrow and judge the MPP by, not statements people made on political platforms, or he goes to a program or comes to a Good Morning Ghana and mentions. Because now, if I want to go and do a fact check, my fact check will be based on the manifesto. Do you know why? Because if I have to prioritize, everybody has wishes. Yes, if I come, I can do this. If I come, I can do that. If I come, I can do that. If he has these wishes, those ones that he prioritizes, and he feels that come what may, if nothing happens and everything goes well and I'm able to raise the revenues that we are budgeting for, I will do A, B, C, D. Those ones are appearing in the document we call a manifesto. So when let's say COVID struck and you had to now prioritize, will you leave the one that you are targeting, the ones that you have said I want to put money on, and go and do the one that you promised somewhere? Whenever presidents and presidential, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is visiting chiefs and everybody, and he's making promises. But when he sits on the seat and he had to prioritize, yes, he may wish he built a school for some chief, he did this for some community, he did that. But when it comes to prioritization, the one that he promised you off the grade will have to wait for the ones that he has documented and had told the people of Ghana, I will do this for you. And based on which the people walked to the polling station and voted for him, he will want to prioritize that. And everybody does that. Randy, you do that at home, right?
Which of the MPP manifestos has the National Cathedral in it?
You are fearing of.
No, I just want to understand how something which is not a priority can have about $400 million.
I think you are trying to argue for me. The National Cathedral...
No, I want to understand you.
Yes, in my opinion, the National Cathedral would have not moved as it should Because it is not one of the things that when the West comes to the West, the president will prioritize. He wants to build a cathedral for God. Yes, I support that 100%. I'm a Christian. But when trouble comes, let's say like COVID struck, like challenges happen, like his revenues he is expecting do not come, like what he wants to actually do, things are not going as they should, and he has to prioritize. Which one would he prioritize? The one that he promised off the table is exactly what I just said. What you are saying is exactly the ones he promised off the table, or the ones that are in black and white that is in front of him.
All I'm
every
telling you
morning
is
he
that
has to
what
wake up.
was promised off the grid, as you put it, has guzzled $400 million.
That is a different matter. It's a different matter that we have to discuss. But what I'm saying is, as a party in power, when challenges come, when revenues are not coming, when you will want to prioritize. As a human being, that's what we do.
All right.
And when it happens like that, Randy, the off-the-grid promises will have to wait.
Okay, all right, Ernest. It's been engaging. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll check out Eduji's perspectives on this issue. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, I have Godwin Eduji Tamaklu and Ernest Daddy with me on the show. Now, what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, as God, the Mola, God, the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. daily. Now, pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the Gamepad Games app on Play Store. You can also play on the website at www.gamepadgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Charlie, when you play this game and make some mola, nobody beats our odds in Ghana. Gamepad Games, more mola, more power. This game is regulated by a National Lottery Authority and is not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Ayesoko, that could somebody damn be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control over every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply, and it's not for persons under 18. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. Blue Jeans energy drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested and tried. It's indeed the best. Blue Jeans energy drink is for bold and active men and women. So go on, grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. Budget, you can call Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208-128-190 0501000. Okay. Now, Edoji, before we get to you today, somebody is turned 82 today. 82. Dr. Nyaho Tamaklu is 82 years old today. Uncle Nyaho is 82 today. So happy 82nd birthday to you, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklu. You can also call him Ambassador Doctor Nyaho Tamaklu. Is 82 today. So happy 82nd birthday to you. And we pray for good health. You're always in great spirit. So we pray for good health. And we pray for more life. And we pray that your mind remains sharp and you're able to continue counseling everybody else and also contributing your quota to the national discourse. So happy 82nd birthday to you. It's also, today is also the birthday of a friend of mine. We call him Uncle Fred. His name is actually Fred Sapon. He's 67 today. So Uncle Fred, Fred Sapon, happy 67th birthday to you. From all the guys at Takwa, and of course all your guys at the airport residential area, they say happy 67th birthday to you, Mr. Fred Sapon, popularly known as Uncle Fred. All right, Eduji, what's funny? You know Uncle Fred?
I mean, the topic.
We've improved lives of Ghanaians compared to Mohammed's time.
Randy, I think it's only appropriate that I join you in wishing the distinguished Ambassador Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo 82nd birthday. Obviously a neighbor, so I'll pass the house today and do what is customarily required. Anytime he sees me, he said, look, when he turned 40, that was the year I was born. You know, so, yeah, the year he turned 40.
You know, everybody is a small boy.
So that was the...
I remember years back, you used to refer to Ben Kofi. I was a young man, Ben Kofi.
But again, there's
Everybody
one thing.
is a young man.
Absolutely. There's one thing you can never take away from him: the dedication to the Ghanaian cause. And I mean, at 82, ordinarily he should be quiet about the issues about Ghana, the deterioration, but he has always demonstrated courage above comfort, courage above convenience, and whatever he has done. And there's one thing I always remember about him. When in 2016, he said, look, I've known Mr. Akufo-Addo for a long time. Ghanaians are going to learn a very painful lesson with the benefit of him becoming president. Prophetic as he is, it has come to pass. Randy, that said, I ordinarily do not take the words of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia any serious. And the reason is that there are two realities that he's living in. And the regrettable thing that we have seen is that the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, appears to be living on Mars. He's not in Ghana. He's completely detached from reality. Because you see, in this situation, one would expect that a person who his boss had told us that I'm bringing you on board because of certain unique skill set that you have, economic prowess, and that you have a Midas touch, that if you touch the economy, everything that is wrong with the economy will get better. Now today, after almost 8 years as the chair of the economic, at this point, economic mismanagement team, the economy is in its worst form since 1992. The record of Mr. Akufo-Addo is like a record competing with the days of 1980s. And so, in such a situation, you would expect that the person who was sold to us as the poster boy on the economy would demonstrate a certain level of humility and sensitivity. Very important that he will be sensitive.
But facts are facts.
So I'll deal with that. That you would expect that you would demonstrate a certain level of, to be sensitive to the feelings of Ghanaians. But you will not find that from Dr. Bawumia. The lack of emotional intelligence in the midst of crisis is completely telling. And I'll demonstrate that to you. You see, Randy, and I'll start from his own home region. The latest Ghana Statistical Service data shows that the worst unemployment, the region with the worst unemployment is Northeast, where Dr. Bawumia comes from. His own home region has the worst unemployment rate. Now, this is a man who, for Christ's sake, promised his own indigene, his own hometown, Wale, the people of Wale, that I will build for you a watermelon factory. It's been 4 years. And then you say life is better. That's ridiculous. That's annoying. And whoever has the ears of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia should tell him that he should stop annoying the people of this country. We have tolerated you too much. Painfully, we have lived with you. The worst form of economy is what we are seeing under your watch. You have supervised a deterioration of the Ghanaian economy, and you are saying that quality of life had improved. Now, what data are we looking at? Randy, by the time the MPP took over power, unemployment in this country was single digit, 8.4%. Today, under the watch of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, we are dealing with unemployment rate of 14.7%. Meaning that there are more people today who are unemployed than ever in the history of this country. At least post-1992. That is your dubious record. So that person who today, we have been told that over 800,000 people have been put into the poverty line. How then do you tell these people that life had improved for them? How do you do that? Randy, now you have a situation where under your watch, inflation rose to the point of almost 54%. At the time when inflation was 54%, Randy, there were only two countries that were doing better: Zimbabwe and Sudan. That is the kind of economy that you have supervised. Even today, that inflation had moved to almost 23-24%. It is still worse than the inflationary rate of 15% John Mahama left you. Now, Randy, now look at it this way. If you are dealing with inflationary rate of 54%, what it means is that the real value of whatever money that you have is halved by 54%. How can 23% inflationary rate be better than 15%? What is wrong with our vice president? I mean, to look Ghanaians illiterate in the face and project this thing is what the psychologists call gaslighting. You have caused a mess. Instead of being sober, reflective, you are mocking Ghanaians. You are standing on their grave and, spitting on them. How can you do this? And you say, Randy, I make this point. And look, if you are an Abosokai, you are a trader, you are an importer, exporter. Look at this. As of 2016, if you are an importer that had 1 million Ghana cedis, right, you could import into this country $250,000 worth of goods if you have 1 million. Today, by reason of the reckless mismanagement of the Ghana cedi, that 1 million can only give you $70,000 worth of goods. Bawumia says that is better. What is wrong with him? And this is about people's livelihood. This is about people's money. This is about people's wealth. You have destroyed people's livelihood. When in the history of this country have you seen any government, as described by the former Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Sophia Kufu? She said, look, the DDEP supervised by Akufo-Addo and Bawumia is like a military regime. What did people do? People decided that instead of spending their monies on luxuries, instead of going to fly luxurious jets, instead of going on vacation, they will use their money to buy government instruments, bonds. They woke up one morning, after giving so much of their money to Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, They wake up one morning for the president to tell them that there shall not be any haircuts. What happened? Not only haircut, but they had their head cut off. Elderly people who decided to live life well and save for the future so that they can get money to buy their diabetes drugs, blood pressure drugs, their savings, that in times are, Sebi, the accounts will say they have gotten Sasabro and the rest. Arthritis.
What is that? Sasabro is what?
Arthritis and the rest.
Arthritis.
Then they'll use the money to pay for medicine and medication. You woke up one morning to tell these elderly people, and by this I mean pensioner bond holders, that they can't have their money as you have promised them. How different are you from Nam1? You tell people that give me your money, I will pay at a particular rate at a particular time. They gave you their money. What did you use the money for? You could not.
Are you oblivious of the fact that there was COVID with global implications? Are you oblivious of the fact that we had the Russia-Ukraine war?
Randy. So we are looking at a situation where, Randy, pensioner bond holders, and I'm speaking to the elderly people of this country. The man on your screen, he teaches tax accounting law at the Ghana Law School. Prepared his life that in times of crisis and old age, he will rely on his pension contribution. What have you done with the money? You mismanage it in corruption, inflated procurement gates. And you tell people that their life, their quality of their lives have improved. Dr. Baumia, whoever gave you this advice, that look Ghanaians in the face and tell them this, has cemented your dubious distinction as a dishonest person. Because, you see, Randy, if you look at Abosuokai, and I always use Abosuokai, the dealers, today, you are having to go and import items into the country. You have to mobilize so much money, so much Ghana cedis, in order to get few dollars to bring items into the country. And Bamian looks you in the face and says he has done better. Randy, before John Mahama left office, the full gallon of petrol, you could get it for 14 cedis. 14. Randy, 14 cedis. Today, what we call beer bottle, the 1 liter, is almost 15 Ghana cedis. Get that. You need 4.5 of that beer bottle to get a gallon. So what it means is that under John Mahama, with just 14 cedis, 15 cedis, 16 cedis, you could get a whole gallon. Today, that amount of money can only get you the beer bottle. Growing up, we used to do kerosene sales. So we use the beer bottle and Coke bottle for the purpose of selling kerosene and others to make some small.
I was wondering the origin of your analysis.
Yes.
You've explained it.
Exactly. So when you come to buy, we use either the beer bottle or the Coke bottle, and each had its own implication. You need 4.5 of that to get a gallon. Today, a gallon that used to sell for maximum 16 Ghana cedis is going for almost 65 Ghana cedis. And you say the quality of people's life had improved? How in God's name can you look Ghanaians in the face and tell them this? Randy, now my brother says, NHIS is done better. And under John Mahama, ABCD. Look, the highest post-President Kufuor, for national health insurance, there are two principal indicators that you use for your analysis: claim payments and outpatient utilization. Randy, do you know that by 2022, right? National Health Insurance Levy alone generated 1.2 billion Ghana cedi. For the whole of 2022, the Akufo-Addo administration gave zero to National Health Insurance on claim payment. The data is there. In fact, claim payment by way of percentages had been reducing under the Akufo-Addo administration. Regrettably, you have even capped how much comes into the National Health Insurance, the pool. And you say you have done better. Better in what? Randy, now he makes the point that, the MPP administration did so well. But look at this. And the usual suspects, COVID-19, Russia, Ukraine, and possibly Hamas, Israel.
Not yet.
Not yet. So let's limit ourselves to COVID and then Russia, Ukraine. Randy, COVID-19 alone, like you put the data, $6 billion. You claim that by reason of COVID, you lost revenue amounting to 14 billion. So Randy, even let's decide to net it. It's a gain for you. COVID-19 became a bonanza for this wasteful administration. Because if you read the Auditor General's report, the Auditor General says, look, the bulk of the money was used for budgetary support. Another finding of the Auditor General, and this is not Domelevo's report, this is Johnson Esiama Nketia, the new boss of audit service. He says and makes the point that 500 million Ghana cedis of the COVID money was utilized outside GIFMIS. Randy, why would anybody spend money outside GIFMIS? What it means is that the finance minister wants to avoid tracing. Because the GIFMIS system is to ensure accountability, transparency. In fact, GIFMIS is a Ministry of Finance tool. But the finance minister, under the watch of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, spent 500 million Ghana cedis outside GIFMIS. And you're saying things are better? That's corruption. That's barefaced stealing. In fact, you recall vividly the MPP Northern Regional Vice Chair, Madam Felicia Titi. The gods are not to blame. The gods exposed them when she came out openly to say, as an MPP parliamentary candidate for Sagnarigu, she got 100,000 Ghana cedis of COVID money. So 275 MPP parliamentary candidates, each of them getting 100,000 Ghana cedis, plus constituency and regional executive. You were sharing COVID money like granates. And you dare talk about what? COVID was a blessing, except that you mismanaged it. But you see, interestingly enough, they make the point that, Russia, Ukraine, Dr. Randy ABBEY, as at 2019, Randy, this government had already set up a 40-member committee to ensure that the cedi depreciation will be arrested. Was there COVID-19? As at 2019? So your incompetent management of the economy had already shown. In fact, if you look at even the World Bank report, as we're going into this IMF program, clearly shows that the health of the economy was already in a terrible shape. You never took a bad economy. You took an economy that John Mahama, through his visionary leadership, had invested so much that by November 2016, the IMF and the World Bank had given a clear indication that any government that would take over 2016 was going to benefit. In economics, there's something we call policy lags. And so, if you implement a policy this year, the actual impact of the policy may just be the next year. The growth rate that you claim and tout that came out of 2017. What major policy had you implemented in 2017 to as it were, promote that growth rate? By reason of the stellar performance of John Mahama, the investments. Today, just one project John Mahama undertook as president, the Etuabo gas project. It had given this government annual saving of $350 million annually. But for that project, that's how much will require, even for importation of gas and LPG, for the purposes of even, powering all the power plants. That is what visionary leadership does. What is it that you have done that today you can pinpoint and say, by reason of this Akufo-Addo Bawumia intervention, the city would have been worse off? Nothing. And you are telling us you have done better? As for Dumso, the record of John Mahama taking responsibility and resolving the matter is a matter of public record. I recall vividly, and I say this with so much pain, that in 2006-2007, I was in Lagos. We knew how we suffered whilst we were on Lagos campus. As for by 2007, the situation became so worse that under Kofi-Addo, one of them as energy minister, we had to go and bring the toy machine.
Dr. Andrew?
No. I think Kofi-Addo had taken over from Indu.
Because then I think Dr. Raku Brobe was a VRA boss.
Yes.
Because that's where the issue of the toy machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then.
Well, no, the description of toy machine was by a minister.
That's why.
The description was by a minister.
I'm always asking this question, everyone.
So
were they really toys?
How could they have been? They couldn't have been toys.
We brought toy machines.
Oh, you're also repeating.
Yes. Not only that, Randy. We even took men of God to Akosombo Dam. That was your solution to resolve the problem. I recall when President Kufuor signed the deal for the ABBEY, by the 2009 when NDC came to power, ABBEY was only 5% done. But we ensured it got completed. John Mahama brought AXA, Car Power. He brought Ameri. Today, shamefully, you have taken 6 of the turbines to Kumasi to generate power without even having the decency to say, John Mahama, we salute you for your visionary leadership. At least it allows you today to have stability. That is what a visionary leader does, not this comical performance. Look, one thing that we must not take away is that Dr. Bawumia should look Ghanaians, the electorates, and stop these fanciful jokes. Ghanaians are worse off under your misrule. And the least you can do is to be sober. As for Dumso, look, every Ghanaian, including Bawumia, agrees that John Mahama solved Dumso. In fact, Bawumia even asked that he should not be credited for it, and that's what he's supposed to do as a leader anyway. Honorable Chairman Sabus, he said, yes, it's true, John Mahama resolved Dumso, but it was expensive. At least he admits that John Mahama did that job. What can you say of Bawumia? Randy, do you know that within the energy sector, the debt owed to IPPs alone is $1.5 billion. The debt Ghana Gas alone owes to Talo is almost $200 million. If you put the debt within the energy sector, we are talking in excess of $2 billion. How is that a better performance? John Mahama, visionary as he is, brought in ESLA. Randy, do you know how much ESLA had given this country? Almost 25 billion. But for ESLA, where would this economy be? What did you do with ESLA? You use the ESLA receivables to go for ESLA PLC bonds. What has become of those bonds? In the space of 6 years, this incompetent, clueless administration borrowed $13 billion from the Eurobond market. You can't even pay. We are today talking about the exchange rate almost getting to 15 Ghana cedis to $1 under your watch. At the time when we are not servicing our public debt, Randy. External debt. Can you imagine if we start servicing this debt where the Ghana city will be. And instead of demonstrating humility, you are here saying what? Randy, there's an issue I want to draw your attention. Now he makes the point, and you expose him. He says, oh, no administration can stop the depreciation of the city. Is that what I heard?
Until some things are done.
No, so at least onto those things, he's saying that it cannot be. And
it cannot be solved by simple rhetoric.
Yes.
That's what I said.
So when Bawumia said he had arrested the dollar, was he engaged in rhetoric?
In actual fact, was the dollar actually...
No, please. These were the words.
Had it stopped,
look,
as at 2018,
whatever it is, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia told us that he, as the chair of the economic management team, has arrested and given the key to the IGP. Thankfully, the IGP was there, smiling. What has happened to the dollar? Out of jail?
I don't want to interject, so go ahead.
What was the question you were going to ask?
No, I was trying to ask him if he says the dollar has been arrested.
Yes.
Actually, at that time, what were the numbers? At the time he was speaking. Because the currency,
Randy,
the currency depreciation up and down is not an event. It happens tomorrow, it can go up, and that is how all economic numbers go.
So they are always spots when it is stable.
It comes, goes, stabilizes, it drops a little. We are doing business. The money is...
So what was the point in making that statement?
The point here is that at the time he was saying the dollar was having a free fall. It's no news to any Ghanaian.
Yes.
That the dollar had a free fall. At a point in time, we've been able to stabilize it. So he was able to say that, yes, we've stabilized it.
And then
when
what
the dollar started dropping again,
yes,
it wasn't the NDC that came telling the MPP that the dollar is dropping, or you are going to tell the people of Ghana. When it started dropping again, it showed. Steps have been taken to stabilize it. At a point, we started bringing policies that will make the dollar stabilize. And I have always said, like I said earlier, that these policies will stabilize it for a time. But if we don't take the next step to make it stay where it is, Randy, it will go down again.
Randy,
we will come back to this studio
on this
sometime in the future.
Randy, so
then we will understand.
On this platform, my brother repeated a recycled lie.
Which one?
By Dr. Bawumia.
Which one?
About the issue of the chalk.
Oh. I thought we had dealt with it.
No. You see, they have given MPP communicators that line. And sometimes the people who repeat it, I mean, regrettably, you don't know what to say. Look, this is a statement Ghana Education Service issued when this matter happened. Ghana Education Service says there is enough chalk in the system to be supplied for schools across the country. According to GES, thousands of boxes have been made available to all educational directorates as far back as March to be supplied to all schools this year. This includes Eastern Region, which was allocated 82,391 boxes of chalk. Kukurantumi is in the Eastern Region.
No, but
hold on. Please.
The statement said be.
Oh,
is that not what you read?
Wait.
Okay, I'm waiting. I didn't. But he's saying we have given it out.
Your impression is that, and Bawumia repeats that the government could not supply chalks.
No, but they're telling us they have supplied.
Oh, please.
And the man on the ground says, I don't have it. Which one do you believe?
82,000 boxes. What happened was that the Kukurantumi, instead of them going for their allocation, they did it. How is that the problem of government? Really? For which reason Bawumia will be repeated 82,000 boxes for Eastern Region alone?
No. You see, this is what I'm saying.
You didn't know this. But
they are saying we have supplied.
Randy.
The man who needs the chalk to write today and tomorrow and next week says.
So at that time, President John Mahama should have gone to GES, taking it and delivered to...
Did you believe that 82,000 boxes were on the ground? Did you believe that? Have you checked?
To be honest, if today, if an headmistress, upon the visit of the second lady, requests for chalk from the second lady, I'm sure that headmistress will be sacked. When the headmistress knows where to go for when you need chalk or other things.
Randy, let me say something quickly.
Let me just finish with a statement, then you can. This is what the statement said. It's the duty of the head teacher of that school to go to the district education office or director of education requesting for chalk and material.
So did you believe me?
So 82,000 for Eastern region alone.
What I'm saying is,
would
you believe
that
now
proposition by Dr. Baumia that, you know, the NDC admit? I mean,
no, the point you and I are making here
hold on.
To the people of Ghana.
Hold on. The office of vice president is a very prestigious, privileged office.
And what I'm saying,
when
you go telling the guy, you say you produce something. And the guy, you haven't produced them. For that matter, you are a liar.
Randy,
he will tell you things like that.
Yeah, I'll just wrap up on this. You see, we are dealing with an economy that today you can arguably describe. I mean, in Legon, Legon Hall, there is a motto there: to whom much is given, much is expected. With all this stellar performance of John Mahama, he was dealing with a total financial envelope of 248 billion. And Dr. Baumia used to say that if he had gotten that 248 billion, he could have done 1,000 bridges, done this, done this. There's a popular video of him. Randy, as we speak, in the space of 7 years, this administration had gotten a total financial envelope of 925 billion Ghana cedis. At 925 billion, the dollar equivalent of $134 billion in 7 years. Randy, this is no joke.
What makes up for the 920 something? How did you arrive at
So what you have, you add total loans, then you add total
tax revenue,
tax and non-tax. Guess what? In 7 years, total tax revenue alone is 477 billion Ghana cedis.
That's as at 2023.
2023. This year's one is not even inclusive. Now, if you add borrowing, that's 447 billion. If you add the two, minus grants, we are doing with 925 billion Ghana cedis in 7 years. John Mahama dealt with only 248 Kaswa interchange. All the hospitals are included. You have gotten more revenue than all administrations. What do you have to show for? You say free SHS. I have seen African Education Watch, a very respectable think tank. Per their research numbers, 77% of the cost of free SHS is still being undertaken by parents.
All right.
So what exactly have you done? And Randy, I beg you, just so I can conclude on this. Do you know that by the time MPP came to power, if you pick your share of our total public debt, it was 4,000 cedis. In fact, as at 2015, it was 3,700. Today, your share of our public debt is almost 20,000.
So has my per capita income increased to 19,000?
Discounted by inflation, discounted by the exchange rate. So the real value of what you claim is your per capita income is what?
Okay. All right. So this is what we do. We don't have time, but we'll do 3 minutes each so that we just round up.
Randy, what worries me the most is when the NDC, as a social democratic party, always tries to discount activities that a party like the MPP, they accuse of being a property-owning democracy, which I don't know what they mean when they say property-owning democracy. I understand it differently.
Right.
When government invests in social interventions that will benefit the ordinary person, it calls it, frames it, profligate, whatever. But he just referenced an increase in NHIS, both the numbers and the receipts. What accounted for that? Actions on the policies. You digitalize the place. People are able to register and pay and do everything fast. You manage to get the service providers on a platform where they are able to express their views, and when they have challenges, they solve, and you have reduced the lag behind the non-payment to service providers to a maximum of 3 months. Recently, the issues came up. When was the last time, Randy? I like the basic understanding. When was the last time you heard service providers of the NHIS up in arms saying, we are going on a strike, we won't accept NHIS cards? So whenever he makes mention of those things, I want the ordinary person in Ghana here to understand that. Now, at least if you pick your card, it can do something for you. Now you know, and we all know, it's public knowledge, that all the cards, when we send them, the sicknesses that you can access have increased. Drugs have been expanded. So automatically the expenditure on the program will increase. But if you are saying now, as we are speaking, as we are here, we are lagging behind longer than you did, why are people not complaining? They are not crying. Is it because you think somebody will also go and sack a private doctor in his private hospital? So, Randy, all I'm saying is that, look, all the things he's mentioned, we have a priority. They have a priority. If they got the money, what they will use for. In fact, His Excellency, the former president said, if I have 2 billion, I will not spend it on education. The video is all around for people to see.
Free SHS or education?
He will not spend it on free SHS. Yeah. Now, the Nado government thought that the ordinary Ghanaian also deserves to be given a scholarship. And I have said this, I understood it in a different way. But for the free Northern Scholarship, somebody who is a big person doing very well today might have been somewhere else. I believe that the investment that they are discounting now, 10, 15, 20 years to come, we will all rise up and salute the man for making that decision.
Okay. Yes,
Randy, so you see, we are dealing with a government as clueless as they are. They would prefer investing 400 million in building a cathedral instead of being focused on getting textbooks for schools. You change the curriculum without corresponding textbook. Where did you learn this wisdom from?
Are you sure now they don't have the textbooks?
Where from this wisdom?
When it happens today and you want the textbooks tomorrow, it doesn't happen like that. You change the curriculum first before private writers write the textbooks.
Today,
so when you give them the program, then they write the books.
But if beyond 3 years, it's inexcusable, to be honest.
Randy, are we saying still it is not there?
Randy.
And one thing...
Well, as I sit here, I don't know.
Exactly.
I mean, today.
So to think that
I'm just saying
1 year after the program, or 6 months after the program was introduced.
No, we've gone past 3 years old.
And what I'm saying is, are we saying as we speak?
Randy, I think I have just 2 minutes so that I can conclude.
Go ahead.
What can we remember Dr. Bawumia's management of the economy for? A bankrupt economy. What do we remember Dr. Bawumia for? It's a default economy. Haircut economy. That is his record. Debt-ridden economy. That's your record.
I've always asked your people.
Overtaxed
you don't
economy.
Do DDE,
please. Overtaxed economy. That is your record.
Which one will
high inflation. That is Bawumia's record.
Decisions that have to be made.
But when you dig yourself into a situation where it's either the devil or the deep blue sea, I mean...
But what I'm saying is the challenges the economy faced.
Dr.
Which one would you prefer?
Please,
lose your money?
We prefer that we didn't get there.
Doc is taking my...
No, I'm saying we prefer we didn't get there. And whoever took us there cannot do the devil and blue sea analysis.
But you see, Randy...
You are saying that.
Randy...
Yeah, that's my view of it.
Randy, you know big, that you, for your exam, big.
We need to go.
Oh, no, so 30 seconds. Big that we were using to write exam under the watch of Bawumia. Big has run away.
To where?
That is your record.
Holding one. I thought you were holding
No, that is your record.
Old stock. Old stock.
We are still but you see, I will end on
finally, the analysis is holding a big pen.
Yes, I will. Yes. In fact, this is all stock.
Okay.
But you say, Randy, just 30 seconds, then you can take
that there
me
is
off.
some confusion at the EC Is it an EC head office or something? But we have our reporter Zoe Anita there. We'll be finding out what is created this confusion on day one of the registration exercise. So once I get Zoe, I will put her on and find out what the issue is.
So currently we are at the Electoral Commission's old head office, where the limited voter registration exercise is taking place. So the exercise was expected to start at exactly 7 a.m. but as at 10:30 the exercise hasn't started. But I have with me some party executives, both the MPP and the NDC. However, when we came in, we had some issues of it was a bit chaos here, because some were claiming that some people had brought or had bussed people from other constituencies to this place. But I have both parties here who are here to clear the air to tell us what exactly is going on. Hello, sir.
Hello, madam.
What's your name and which party are you from?
I'm Issa Sawadogo, MPP Secretary for Iowa West Wogo.
What is going on now? Because you can see that the place is a bit chaotic. Can you really tell us what is going on?
Honestly, the issue has to do, they say it's a technical issue, which we are waiting for it to be resolved. So we don't have control over that. So we are just appealing to the EC to make sure they work on it. So as and when the process is still being worked on, those in the queue are impatient, and there's a lot of scuffle and misunderstanding in the queue. So that is why the chaos is going on.
Okay, but let me speak to the NDC lady too. We heard that from your people that the issue that is bringing a misunderstanding is that the other party are bussing in people from who are not in this constituency. I want you to clear the ground, because he is saying it has to do with technical issues. We just want to know the truth of it. Are they really bussing in people who are not in this constituency to vote? And that is what is causing the chaos.
Thank you very much. But I think the issues are two. There is a difference between technical issue and bussing people. As we speak, there is a technical issue by the EC. The machines are not working. Since morning, we have not been able to even print a single card. People are in the queue agitating, and they are complaining because some are workers. They ask permission to rush here to register. But as we speak now, the system is slow, and we are pleading with the Electoral Commission, whatever the technical problem may be, we are pleading with them that they should resolve it as early as possible so that the people can register and go back to their various work.
And about the busing issue too, I want you to also speak on that. How true is that?
Thank you very much. When they come to the issue of busing, the other political parties are saying, which is the MPP, are saying NDC we have bussed. What is the evidence that we have bussed? When we come to the electoral process, we all know the process. That if you know that somebody is not from the constituency or the person doesn't reside within the constituency, what do? You pick a challenge form. If you're able to prove that yes, the person is not from here, why not? So with the issue of bouncing, I disagree. Everybody here is a constituent and is here to register, what I know.
But have you actually found out from the other parties if they are also bringing in people?
It's not my work to find out from them if they are bringing people, because we all know that registration started today. So it's not my work to go and be asking other political parties, are you bringing?
I get it, but they are accusing you, and you are asking for they are asking for evidence. So, in order to counter what you are saying, I believe you also have to find out. Okay, if you are accusing me and bringing people, how about you? That is what I want to find out. I also want to find out from you. So, are there any compensations being given to these people brought in? How are you sorting?
Which people?
The people from other constituencies, or the people who are in these constituencies that are being brought in here. No, there's no other compensation.
You all know that if the electoral commission is registering.
All right, so our news team will be following up on all the registration centers. So that was the old electoral commission office, which I guess is being used as a district office for also West Wagon. And then I guess the key thing here is that as we speak, as past 10:30, they say that they've not been able to print even one.
And it's a report that I'm getting nationwide. But just to conclude on that, if you look at Public Accounts Committee sitting on 31st August 2020, the record will show that 46 budget management centers were owed 20 million Ghana cedis by NHIS. So you cannot come and sit on this platform and say,
yeah, it says they are not
agitating.
No. In fact, if you look at the record,
they've been managed.
No, Randy, it says government settles arrests of NHIS service providers
because they know when they will be paid.
I'm just letting you know that.
These jobs are
this is a
strategies to send information out there. What I'm saying is that under you, the non-payment was able to cause so much confusion. Now the lag has been reduced.
But I've just shown you
it's never been
even at the Public
before.
Accounts Committee.
But
this
currently,
the evidence.
there's always a process to pay and a payment plan, so that people know. So nobody's agitating.
Okay, gentlemen, we need to go.
Randy, thank you for that.
Thanks for joining me. Up next, GMB Trends.
Household, if you chose to do that, you'll be borrowing from the banks, you'll be borrowing from friends. You'll be taking things on credit. At some point, your creditors are going to look at you and say, we won't lend to you again. That is where Ghana has got into. Our creditors are now saying they are not lending to us. And why? As we speak, we are in discussion with our external creditors to give them haircuts. That is to say, the money we owe you, we can't pay everything. We can only pay you a part. So let's reach that agreement. Yeah. So the point I'm making is, that is what has created the kind of economy we have, and we're always going to get here sooner than later. I am one of those who believe that, of course, COVID-19 and the Russian war have impacted us adversely, but I do not think that we're not going to get here but for this.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Time to check out what is trending on social media with Desi, the star boy. Desi, good morning.
Good morning, Doc.
Okay, so Desi, before we just hear was trending today, Dr. Nyao Tamaklo turns 82. He's turned 82 today.
82 years.
Yes, so today is the 82nd birthday of Dr. Nyao Tamaklo. So Dr. Nyao Tamaklo at 82. It's also the birthday of the MP for Subing.
Subing.
Yes. The Honorable Eugene Boachi MP. Today is his birthday.
Yeah.
Yes, MP for Subing. So today is Yugas. That's his nickname, Yugas. Today is his birthday. So happy birthday to you, the Honorable Eugene Boachi MP. And yesterday was the birthday of the Honorable James Ajene Boating. Former Deputy Minister of Information. Yes. Yesterday was his birthday, so his nickname is Jamis. Jamis. That's James. Pronounced another way, Jamis.
Okay.
That's yesterday was his birthday.
That's nice.
So belated happy birthday to you, Jamis. James Ajene Mbwati. Okay, and there's also the 67th birthday of a friend of mine, very good friend, Mr. Fred Sapon, popularly known as Uncle Fred. Yes, so, you know, but I'm told that today is the birthday of the big man.
Of the big man himself.
Yes.
Sir Isaac Kweku Danso. My father.
Today is
Today's his 61st birthday.
okay.
He's 61
So
years old.
Isaac Kweku Danso at 61.
At 61.
Whoa.
That's
so
why.
for those of you who do not know his dad, that's his dad. Your dad looks younger than you.
Yeah, that's
So that's Desi's dad.
yeah, that's my father.
That's Desi's
Yeah.
dad. He's 61 today.
61, retired from the Ghana Audit Service last year.
Oh, so this is his first anniversary.
Yeah, first anniversary
as a
retiree.
pensioner.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, happy birthday to you, Daddy. For myself and all the 5. So yeah, 6. We'll say happy birthday
Yeah,
to
6.
you. Yes.
Okay.
And the first of 6.
You are the first of 6.
6.
Okay,
Yes.
I see.
So we'll say happy birthday to you.
So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Bless you, sir. Bless you, sir. We appreciate everything. All right? Yeah.
We thank you for giving us Desi.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the star dad.
Yeah, standard.
Star dad. Yeah,
Eddie,
so
what's
yeah,
up?
well, it's just been about the rains yesterday.
Yes.
It was crazy.
You know, I realized that it rained a bit. But then later in the day, I was seeing pictures of trees on vehicles and all.
Yes.
No. What kind of chaos is that?
Someone said God was speaking. Hey, the thunder was crazy. The thunder and lightning. So the issue was that around the London restaurants at the airport area,
Yes.
those who have parked their cars there.
That's where the neem trees broke.
Yes, the trees.
Those huge trees there.
Yes. So that's on the screen.
Oh, so that's around the airport.
Yes, around the airport.
Landing restaurant.
Yes.
Whoa.
And there were some other incidents also that happened, in town.
Okay.
I passed by the police, National Police Training School, and this huge billboard and a huge tree that had been uprooted was crazy. Yesterday in Susan,
But why? Is it silting? Is it as a result of silting?
look, you
Because
can't tell.
the rain, the quantity of rain was not
No, okay, what's that?
that much.
No, it was.
Okay.
Oh, it really was.
So, well, the Met says that we should expect
Expect more of
a
this.
lot more till July.
Hey,
Yes. So we expect more till July. I'm told that because of this, the drivers decided to charge double.
oh yes.
To go through it, they charge double.
Anytime it happens, that's what they do. So I mean, it must be really heart-wrenching. You wake up in the morning,
this is just
going to
yesterday's
work,
rain.
Just yesterday's rain. Going to work, you park your car, and then it rains, and you come back in your car.
And your insurance too is third party.
Oh, that is crazy. Yeah, so let's all just
I've
protect
told
her.
Danny to do comprehensive.
Anyway, so I mean, yesterday, I'll be
We even thank God that we didn't have people in the cars.
Yeah. Imagine there were people in the
Yes,
car
you can
who were trying to be safe from the rain.
Yes. Can you imagine?
It have been really, really, sad. So, and that day,
Just yesterday.
just yesterday's rain.
Wow.
Just yesterday's rain. So let's all be careful in this season while we understand lots of these
Say from now till
to
July.
July. We're going to have heavy
Yes.
rains with storms like that.
Yes.
Let's prepare ourselves for that, really. So that's been trending. This one I've seen that the Lumba in the trends also because he held a concert
show in the
yesterday
UK.
in the UK, which was massive. Medical, Samini, Shatawali, and all the others.
There's something
were there.
about the two shows.
Medical also. yeah.
Medical and Lumbes.
Yeah.
I like the camaraderie.
Okay.
The way the artist went there
Went there to support. Yeah, definitely.
So the way they did that, you could say that these are contemporaries, but then the way they moved to Lumbe's
to
show
Lumbe's
as well,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
is good.
It's a very good
try and
thing.
help
Yeah,
each other.
yeah. So let's just keep
And I
pushing our music.
want the big arena itself.
Yeah, we should be working towards that. And I've said this. I think a lot of collaboration has not been going on amongst our aunties.
I think that one of these three should think of headlining a show at the big arena.
Doc, how about all of them?
No, I'm saying headline.
Okay.
Yes, headline it. One of them. Shatawale, Stoneboy, Sarkodie.
Yeah. Or it could be one
At
big
least
concert.
one of them
The S concert.
should headline it. I think that with the right promotion, it should be possible.
Yeah, we should be able to do something.
Obviously, you can have all the others coming to support.
coming through to support,
Yes,
but-
but it should be possible.
We'll definitely get that.
It's a little under 30,000. It should be possible.
Yeah, we should. Anyway, Hey, Doc. Today is also the birthday of our graphics guy. The guy who's been working on all the GMG videos, Davido. Yeah,
Today's his birthday.
Today's his birthday. He's working on all the videos we play, the flyers that we've been sending out. So, David Nimo, aka Davido, happy birthday to you also.
This man.
Yeah.
He hardly speaks, eh?
No, he doesn't talk much.
Yeah,
In the room, he's always in the corner.
He hardly speaks. People like that are quite dangerous. You never know what's going through their mind.
Is that dangerous?
Happy birthday, Davido.
Yeah. Happy birthday to you. Okay. Yeah, so Doc, that's it.
All right.
For today, May 7th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, let's just be careful out there.
We
Be
have
careful out there. The Met says that it's going to rain till July. So, well, up next, Metro Sports.